I stopped composting, and well, my soil exploded with life. The day I stopped composting and started growing life underground, everything changed. If you followed Soil Sage Chronicles for a while, you know I'm totally obsessed with soil life, all the worms, the fungi, and especially those microbes that make plants thrive. But here's a confession. I stopped traditional composting. No bins, no piles, no turning. Instead, I found a way to let my garden itself become the compost, a living microbe factory where, honestly, the soil does all the work. This wasn't just some lazy shortcut, not at all. It was a deliberate experiment, born from my frustration with dry compost heaps, uneven breakdown, and, endless waiting. What happened next changed how I see gardening forever. The secret starts below the surface. I realized that microbes don't really live in compost, they actually thrive around decomposing organic matter in the soil. So, what if I stopped making compost above ground and started feeding the microbes right where they live? That idea sparked my shift to in-soil decomposition, or as I call it, living composting. It's a system where, instead of managing compost separately, you bury organic materials right in the soil and let earthworms, fungi, and bacteria handle the rest. This method mimics how forests work. Leaves fall, roots die, life decays naturally, right where plants feed. You're basically replicating nature's own recycling system. Step 1. Feeding the soil, not the pile. I began with what I already had, kitchen scraps, weeds, and old leaves. Instead of tossing them into a compost bin, I dug small trenches between my crops and buried them about 6 inches deep. Within just a few weeks, something amazing happened. The soil became warm, spongy, and alive. When I dug back down, I saw tunnels from worms and a web of fine fungal threads. The buried materials had vanished faster than any compost pile I'd ever made. The secret? The soil stayed moist and protected, creating the perfect microclimate for microbes to multiply and process organic matter efficiently. Step 2. Building microbial hotels. Once I saw how effective trenching was, I created what I call microbe hotels. These are zones I occasionally feed directly with organic matter, like banana peels, comfrey leaves, or rice bran, and cover back with soil or mulch. Each microbe hotel becomes a hotspot of microbial activity, slowly releasing nutrients throughout the bed. Think of them as compost capsules that feed the entire ecosystem underground. To supercharge the process, I added biochar, which is basically crushed charcoal, and a splash of molasses water. The biochar gives microbes a permanent home, full of pores where they hide and reproduce, while molasses acts as an instant food source. Within days, I could literally smell life. That sweet, earthy scent told me things were working. Step 3 is all about harnessing root exudates. One of the most overlooked microbe feeders is actually the plant root itself. Plants are constantly releasing sugars, amino acids, and organic acids through their roots. These are called root exudates, and they work to attract and nourish microbes in the soil. So, instead of disturbing the soil, I started practicing no-dig gardening. I began leaving roots in the ground after harvesting and only cut the plant at soil level. Those leftover roots ended up becoming food for fungi and bacteria, which then went on to feed the next crop. Pretty neat, right? It's a perfect cycle. Plants feed microbes, and microbes feed plants. That's honestly the real magic behind turning your garden into a living microbe factory. Step 4. The power of mulch layers. Mulch isn't just for moisture retention, it's the roof over the microbial city. I layered my soil with dry leaves, grass clippings, and shredded stems. This blanket kept the soil cool and stable, allowing microbes to thrive year-round. Over time, the mulch broke down into dark humus. I didn't have to move a thing. Nature handled it all. Every layer added depth and fertility without ever making a compost pile. If you lift that mulch now, you'll see earthworms wriggling, fungal hyphae spreading, and soil that looks like chocolate cake. that's your living proof of success. Step 5. Boosting biology with simple brews. To kickstart microbial life in new beds, I occasionally apply homemade microbial teas. They're easy, cheap, and honestly, pretty powerful. Here's my go-to recipe. A handful of soil from an undisturbed healthy spot, a spoon of molasses, a handful of compost or worm castings if you have some, and a bucket of non-chlorinated water. Stir and let it bubble for about 24 hours, then pour it around your plants or into your microbe hotels. This liquid life colonizes the soil fast and really strengthens the web of life underground. After just one season, the difference was clear. My soil structure improved drastically. It held water like a sponge yet drained beautifully. Root systems grew deeper, plants looked greener, and pest resistance increased. I didn't need to add fertilizer or turn compost piles anymore. The soil became a self-regenerating ecosystem, producing its own nutrients from within. And because I never left bare soil, weeds dropped dramatically. I spent less time maintaining and more time observing, watching how alive the ground had become. If you're just starting your gardening journey, this approach is, honestly, simpler, faster, and a whole lot more forgiving than traditional composting. You don't need any fancy tools or perfect carbon-nitrogen ratios, just organic matter, soil, and, well, a bit of patience. For experienced gardeners, this system really deepens your relationship with soil biology. You stop managing decomposition externally, and instead, you start to partner with the life beneath your feet. It's not about feeding plants anymore. It's about feeding the entire ecosystem that sustains them. My key takeaways from the experiment: first, microbes work best where they live, so let decomposition happen in the soil, not in a separate pile. You know, roots are actually part of the compost cycle. Leaving them in place, well, it really boosts microbial diversity. And mulch? It's honestly the ultimate microbial shield. It keeps all that life below thriving and protected. Small, consistent feedings always beat those big efforts. Just add organic matter often, but in small doses. Observation is everything, folks. Watch your soil, smell it, touch it. Living soil looks, feels, and even sounds different. Turning my garden into a microbe factory wasn't about avoiding composting, it was about evolving past it. I learned that the most powerful compost pile is invisible, silent, and spread across every inch of your soil. Every banana peel you bury, every root you leave behind, every handful of mulch, they all become part of this underground network of transformation. That's where the true magic of soil health begins. So next time you think of composting, remember this: you don't need a pile, you just need to feed your soil. If this story inspired you to try in-soil composting or rethink how you grow, share it with a fellow gardener who loves experimenting with nature's systems. And for more living soil secrets, real experiments, and step-by-step methods, make sure to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles on YouTube. Let's keep growing not just plants, but life itself.